Want to be the king in Kingshot? In this video, we'll break down everything you need to know. King perks, minister roles, castle battles, the difference between king and high king, and most importantly, how I became the high king myself, and how you can claim the throne too. Trust me, it's easier than you think. Let's dive in. The very first castle battle in Kingshot takes place when the fog clears and the countdown ends. That's your kingdom's first big war moment. After that, castle battles happen every 2 weeks. Sometimes, the game slightly reduces the gap between the first and second castle battle to adjust the server timeline. So don't panic if the timing feels a little different. The rules are simple. The alliance that either holds the castle the longest or keeps continuous occupation for 3 hours wins the battle. The winning alliance then gets the right to assign the king for the next 2 weeks. King versus High King. Now, here's where things get interesting. There are actually 2 different thrones in Kingshot: King and High King. A king is assigned whenever the internal castle battle is completed, or if one of the 2 conditions during the Kingdom of Power event is met. 1. If your kingdom wins the prep phase but loses the battle, a king is assigned. 2. If your kingdom wins the prep but loses the fight again, still, a king is assigned. On the other hand, a high king is only crowned when both the prep phase and the battle phase of the Kingdom of Power event are won. And here's the twist. The high king doesn't just rule their own kingdom, they also rule over the defeated one, and minister buffs get boosted. We'll cover the Kingdom of Power event in depth in a separate guide. So, what's in it for the king? The very first perk is the High King Pack, which offers 20,000 diamonds and other goodies. The king also gets exclusive access to Pyroa and Imperial Airship City and March skins, which last for the entire 14-day term. And here's one of the coolest features. The king can use the buffs of any minister role, anytime and anywhere, with just a 5-minute cooldown between switches. Once a king is crowned, 6 minister positions unlock. These roles bring massive buffs to your kingdom. Chief Minister gives 10% construction, research, and training speed. During High King, this buff increases to 15%. Minister of Justice. Think of this role as the king's right hand. They can manage punishments and other minister positions if the king isn't around. Buff-wise, they provide 80% resource production, boosted to 120% under a High King. Minister of Interior, focused on healing, provides 100% healing speed and 5,000 infirmary capacity. Under High King, that doubles to 150% healing speed and 7,500 capacity. Field Commander, a war role, increases lethality by 10%, bumped up to 15% under High King. Marshal adds 5% troop attack and 2,500 deployment size. Under High King, it grows to 8% attack and 3,750 deployment. Noble Advisor, probably the favorite role for many players, offers 50% training speed increase and 150 capacity boost. Under High King, that jumps to 75% training speed and 300 capacity. The king and the Minister of Justice also control who gets these roles. They can allow open applications for everyone, or restrict positions to certain players. And during High King, both the High King and the Minister of Justice can even allow players from the defeated kingdom to apply. With power also comes punishment. The king and Minister of Justice can assign negative buffs to players as punishments. There are 6 types of trials: Avarice Trial, Arrogance Trial, Melancholy Trial, Timidity Trial, Domination Trial, and Indolence Trial. If your opponent captures your castle during the Kingdom of Power battles, they can use these punishments on your players. So yeah, losing the castle hurts in more ways than one. Now, let's talk about king skills. A regular king gets 8 skills, while a high king gets 9. 5 of these skills have a 7-day cooldown, and they require authority points to activate. Authority is earned by completing daily missions. Here are the big ones that cost 45,000 authority each. 1. Community healing, plus 50% healing speed. 2nd, groundworks, plus 10% construction speed. 3. Fresh ideas, plus 10% research speed. 4th, mobilize, plus 30% training speed. 5. High King's Will, plus 10% lethality. Only the High King can activate this one. Other skills with shorter cooldowns include Ceasefire, Forced Exile, Kingdom Search, and Tribute Levy, which can be used 3 times per day to obtain gems for the king. Each of these costs 27,000 authority. So if your kingdom is running low on authority, it's better to skip using this skill. Besides buffs and punishments, the king can also grant small awards to players. They're not massive rewards, but they're definitely worth it and help keep your kingdom motivated. Becoming king isn't just about having the title or showing off skins. It's about responsibility, managing ministers, activating kingdom-wide skills at the right time, planning for KVK, and leading your state in the right direction. All right, now for the question everyone wants answered. How do you become king if you're not a massive spender? Here's my story. I'm not a whale, but I try to be as helpful as possible to my alliance and my state. Make friends with the strongest alliance in your server and be genuinely helpful and active. If the top players and whales in your state see that you're loyal, supportive, and reliable, you might just earn their trust. And when they trust you, that's when you might get a chance to become king. It's not always about money or troop power. Sometimes it's about strategy, teamwork, and building relationships. So there you have it, the full guide to Kingshot's King system. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like, share it with your alliance, and subscribe for more Kingshot guides. Make sure to join our Discord link in the description.